Cheers, fellow Earthlings. Today we're going to talk about cave life. Man cave. No. Actual cave. Side of a hill. Sun hits it first thing in the morning. Yeah. Can it be your man cave? Sure. As long as it's a cave on the side of a hill with a southern exposure. Cave life after SHTF, before SHTF. Oh, something happened there. That was weird. Red line went right across the top of my screen. I'm like, what? What's that all about? At least I can still see a little bit. And thank you for the thumbs up. Jamie's Country Living. Welcome. Talking about caves today. You know, cave's pretty cool. Offers a lot of protection. There's only one way in, so you know where they're coming from, or it's coming from bad guys to wild animals that are unfriendly, or aliens from another world, perhaps. Who knows? But when you're in your cave, there's only one way in. Now, you got your cave. So you're going in. Dig another hole in your underground room with an escape route. Oh, some people will go, oh, hey, what about if it collapses? Well, there's, I'm pretty sure you know how to make Lego blocks and put them together, right? It's not rocket science. Put some blockage there so it don't. Put a car there, side. Put a rock. Put a wood. Build the cob wall there if you're worried about it. There's endless things you can do for shoring up a cave. And besides, it's not that big. It's just for you to crawl in like a bear. What does a bear do? Good morning. Hey, Colette Cat. Welcome. Just talking about caves here, Colette Cat. Make it by Mandy. Good to see you. Just talking about caves after SHTF and after the big one on this big fault line we all live on here. What are you going to do? What's the easiest thing to do? Cave. Man's first home was a cave. Apparently, Jesus hung out in a cave. He was a sheep herder. Had a bunch of sheep outside. Personally, I like goats. Caves inspired me when I seen this well over 90-year-old woman in a war zone escape with all the orphan kids. She dug a cave. Dug her cave just enough for them and the kids to go in. She made a cob oven with an oven door and put a pipe in. She dug a hole and put a pipe in. She can cook right there. Oh, well, personally, I like a rocket stove myself, but hey, who's to say, right? So, but a cave, what are you going to do after there's nothing? Well, there's always a cave. That was man's first home. You see a big handprint on the Neanderthal caves in Spain and stuff. Well, that's because it offered protection. There's one way in. You're coming to get me. Now I make it really, really small. Oh, now you got to crawl underneath the ground to come up in my room. And I'm looking down at you. And you know what I'm thinking? You're in a lot of trouble because you're going to be my worker for the rest of your life, because I'm a pacifist. I can't take your life, but I can take your freedom away from you. And that's what happens if bad guys show up. You know, like on the very least, if you are stupid enough to crawl in on your hands and knees to come and see me, and you're still going to be violent, well, God forbid what I should have to do. Who's all here? CR, welcome. Colette Cat, Mandy, Jamie's Country Living. Vay's Place. Caves are great, easy to defend if you make proper preparations. Yeah, and it can be on the fly, on the shift. Especially if you have a container garden, you can take it all in the cave with you. Hey, you still have soil and veggies, right? Hi, Howie. My knuckles are dragging on the ground. Jeez, Dave, you got to stop planting those peanuts, man. Dave's planting peanuts. I'm excited to see how they make out. I found them growing here. And it was interesting that the squirrel had planted them. But if you want to plant them, Dave, it's interesting. You're catching up to the squirrels, Dave. Dave's cool, man. Yeah, very cool gentleman. Fine gentleman. A rare treat. Oh, I love good people. Takes no talent to be bad. It takes talent to be good. Yeah. CR says hi to Verna. Hi, Dave. Hi, Dave. Hey, CR. Everybody's saying, "Well, I started another batch of seeds yesterday." What'd you start there, CR? And everybody's saying hello. And Colette Cat's here. Haven't seen you for a while. What have you been doing? And I think I seen Wendy Benjamin back there somewhere. If I missed you, and Jamie's Country Living. Wow. Well, I'll catch you on the next time you. If I was going away, I would definitely have started more seeds. Yeah, you keep talking about your trip. Yeah, I hope we get to see some live videos of your trip. That's always exciting. Just something that sprouts my interest. Ah, sprouts. There's no C and an R in sprouts. Or CR sprouts. Hello, Jamie. I missed Jamie's Country Living. Oh, there they are. Still have those disposable stitches that grab a hold. Hey, oh, I have to go back and see the doc again, or cut the stitch off myself, maybe. Thanks for the thumbs up. But yeah, we're here to talk about caves. I mean, get back to Dave Knight there planting peanuts, and the squirrel, well, he collects peanuts and because he and other nuts, and because they forget where they put them. So one grows there: peanut, walnut, hazelnut, filbert. List is endless. And they'll bury fruit too. They'll pick fruit and put it in their stash. It's a squirrel. I've seen them take eggs out of nests. So where do they all go? Well, inside of a log, inside of a tree, underneath the ground, in the back of a '59 Chevy. I've opened the trunk and it's loaded with pine cones. Yeah, the whole thing, because there was a little hole in the back. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute here. I didn't put these here. Oh, it's a squirrel, right? It's the same thing as an underground room underneath your cave. Caves are super easy to build. Now, that's if you can dig one in fairly good rock, especially if it's a bit of clay and mud, and you can make a wall pretty fast if it's not the best soil. And look up. Oh, hey, there's Jamie's Country Living. Sorry about that. Give you the wrench there in case you want to look around and say hello, because my friend, hey, Bill's here. Hi, all. Hi, Howie. Yeah, just talking about caves there, Bill. And yeah, I'm digging out black walnuts that the squirrels planted in the garden. Yeah. Well, the best way to feed yourself is to go to the squirrel's cave. So what happens is you see that little lead. It's like a rabbit lead or deer trail, but it's only like about this big. And you just follow them around, and there'll be the most worn one will be going to his stash area, the squirrel, obviously I'm talking about. And in that stash area, that's the fastest way to get protein in the middle of winter, if you know where it is. Like, once you find it, you don't have to rate it yet, right? You can duly note where it is. Now, There's only a couple of critters that gain weight and fat in the wintertime. One's a beaver. I forget the other one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Good morning, Uncle Al. Good to see you here, Uncle Al. Cheers. Yeah. So, yeah, caves, easy and fast to make. Anyway, I get back to this woman. She was my hero. She gathered up all them kids, and she dug a cave in the southern position where the sun hit first, and she made a little cob oven there with a pipe coming in, and then to shore up an area, she just mixed clay and water like mud and let it dry, bit of sand and hay in there. It's called cob. It's the oldest form of material ever used by man. I mean, way before the pyramids were built. Well, yeah, it's cob's been around a long time. A Saudi, the Ukrainians, when they came to Canada, they didn't have building materials, but they all knew how to make a Saudi out of the earth. Just cut a chunk of the earth out. The grass is growing on it, start building a frame. And the First Nations, they knew how to live, and a lot of people knew how to live back in the day, but the rules now have changed. So even going out and finding a cave, I better read some of this. It could be a little daunting, but after SHTF, who's going to be looking for a cave but you, right? There's not going to be a lot of people looking for a cave. Simple as that. Unless you prepare now and go look around your neighborhood. See if you got to walk at least a day or two's walk from your house to it. Find a nice secluded cave. Build a cave. But once you start using like materials, it's quite neat. Like clay is your best friend when you're making your cave. A shovel, 3 types of shovel, like the short handle, long handle, and pickaxe, because you're going to spend a couple, 3 days building it and then a few days maintaining it. I've seen some very opulent caves built in the Middle East. And they put on, when they made their clay wall, because it was kind of a sandy material, so they made a clay wall to give it that structure like an egg, like a chicken egg. It's really super strong. Yeah. Just make sure the cave doesn't have a bear in it. Well, maybe you should have a bear in there. Maybe the bear could be your friend. Maybe you grew up with the bear. Maybe the bear thinks you're his mama. Animals are like that, hey. They love you when they grow up with you, hey. It's a beautiful world. But anyway, you're quite right if there's a hungry bear in there. Man, coffee sure stains your teeth. You can clean your teeth till the egg whites come home. As soon as you have a coffee, they're brown again. But anyway, caves with bears in it. I like making lean-to against big rocks. Yep, that'll do it. Southern facing big rocks. Yeah, the rocks heat up, radiant heat overnight too. Really, really nice and cool in the summertime. And the warmth, yeah, it makes for an easy shelter. And the warmth from the fire keeps heating up the rock all night, and then the fire goes out. Yep, that's really cool. Yeah, absolutely. I've done that. I will be doing that again. History has a funny way of repeating itself because man's first home was a cave. You see cave art, buffalo on the cave, horses, people put their handprint on there and move some charcoal dust on there. And hey, there you go. I was here, some red clay. And clay is your building material in the cave. You can even heat a cob bench in a cave with a cob oven. It opens up a whole new ballpark where, I don't have a 40-year mortgage. Nope. I don't have a 30-year. Nope. Not even a 20. Nope. A 10. Nope. I don't have to pay rent. Nope. Wow. Underground is underground. Cobb is amazing. You were saying the other day that someone built a Cobb house recently near you. Yeah, that's up in the Highlands. Yeah. Yeah. They charge you like, I think it's $50 for the tour with a lunch, something like that. Like, don't quote me. That was a year or so ago. They might just, and I heard even $20 just for the quick tour. And they went through the legal route where they paid all the inspectors, like all the like they hired people that were red sealed ticketed for everything, like the electrical, the plumbing, and everything, and they're hooked up to the sewage. They're hooked up to it, so it's all nice and legal. So it's quite interesting. It looks like what are those Flintstone houses? What? Flintstone houses? Caves. Yeah, you still have the heat from the big rock. Yep. We have underground house in Fresno. Yes, in California. Yes. Yes. No caves in my area, too much sand. Well, that's perfect. Dig a hole in the side of the hill and start putting cob in there, Uncle Al. And I'm sure there's a tree around for support, and put the cob around the tree. Sand is good to build the cave in. You just shore it up with cob. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be very big. It's a cave, it's a place to sleep and make food. That's it. You're not making a hotel out of it. I'll think's big. Hey, hey, life in Florida. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. And my friend Shawnee's here. Hello, Shawnee. I went looking up your channel finally. I did not find much on your channel, Shawnee. I found you, but there was no other than you're in America. Anyway, hello, possible distant cousin from planet Earth. Yeah. Good morning, Shawnee. Good to see you. I'm just razzing you a little bit because you're fun and you ask a lot of questions and you're a go-getter. And my friend Ari showed up. Yay! Hello, hello, hello. Yeah. Ari has a forest in an urban environment in Florida, and the diversity is absolutely amazing. And I was there this morning watching all the food that Life in Florida is doing, and it's absolutely amazing, the diversity. Like, it's beyond belief, and there's food everywhere, and it looks like it's a constant thing, and I don't see Life in Florida much, but over the years I have stopped in and said hello, and because it's always amazing to see another forest of food and what another earthling's doing in another zone. It's a zone 9, probably 9B or something like that. Everybody's saying hello. A busy mom. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yeah. It was cool to find out where you were from. And I was just like, wow, that makes sense, because certain people on the planet have a way of going towards a natural lifestyle, and others are easily programmed, and you're not one easily programmed. Interesting. My analogy. Very interesting. Blessings, everyone. Have to take care of chores. Hey, Vay, you take care. It was nice seeing you here again, Vay. It's about 100 years old, Vay's. The guy built it in the 1920s, the underground house. Yeah, in Nevada, there's an underground where they grow. It's so hot that that citrus and other fruit trees have a hard time growing on the hard rock, on the hard pan. So there's this Italian guy who came from Sicily, or I think Sardinia or Sicily. I'm not sure. I don't remember too much about even his name, but what I do remember, and I'll think of his name, what I do remember is that he put the tree 10, 12 feet down into a hole underground with the cave. So what happened was the orange tree grew out, and he had all the oranges, and it was nice and cool down here where the hard pan didn't fry the roots, because there's no soil up top. This was in Nevada. And he bought the worst piece of land that there was for dirt cheap. And he had like the most beautiful rooms underneath. And you can take a tour for like 10 or 20 bucks or something and go and see how you live in a cave underground. Yeah. I became fascinated with caves when when the Americans attacked Mount Suribachi, and the Japanese army embedded themselves inside the mountain. You couldn't take the mountain. I'm just talking about a war. So the Americans military shored it up. They blew up all the entrances because they just simply couldn't. It's very difficult, underground warfare. It's extremely difficult. I was watching video recently of booby traps underneath the ground, and the American military were trying to go in for the NVA, the North Vietnamese army, underneath the ground. It was extremely difficult. You had a flashlight and a pistol, 45. That's all you had. You might have had some knife for digging to see if there's as you're crawling in, I mean, and you crawl over something you don't know. I mean, the guy just punji sticked you. I mean, okay, next. Did I mention next? It's not a pleasant way to go. It's about 100 years old. Yep, the underground house. Yeah, underground house. It's ideal. Nobody knows you're there. Did I mention it's ideal? Take care, Verna. Yep, Verna. See you. Yep. Shawnee, CR, the store was not stocked with the ones I wanted. I have to order some. My dad had extra, but not the style I want. Interesting. That's amazing, Howie. Yeah, underground you grow. If it's too hot, always go underground. If it gets too hot and this climate stuff actually happens that everybody's freaking out about, and they're showing all these different degrees and the ice caps melting, well, I want to be able to run underground, underground cave. There's no tax collector. You can let whoever you want in your cave. I suggest like-minded people, and the ones that are not like-minded, there's a special place out there for them. It's called the curbside. Bye. And you must be able to show that boundary. If you can't govern accordingly, like for after SHTF, you're not going to make it. As simple as that. I mean, underground citrus growing. Yeah. Dig a hole. Dig a hole. That's what he did. And it was shale. It was rock. It was hard rock. He had to chisel it out. It wasn't soil down there. He had a hard time, this Italian guy. But he did it. And today, in Nevada, it's part of heritage there now, that you can go underground and live there and grow your food because you have a hole where the citrus can get out and grow up there. And the roots don't, you don't have a lot of moisture leaving in your cave, and it's pretty easy to make a bit of soil. But extensively, I watched all his rooms. He had a living room. He had a little room where he ate him by himself with a little flower. And the skylight was actually just a hole in the ground. That was the skylight. So he'd go from room to room and he had all this natural light. And I was just like, man, this is so cool. And then he had his cooking area. Hey, amazing, absolutely amazing. And who thinks of making a cave or going underground? Not a lot. You're conditioned to be in a cubicle. That's your home. You know what? I kind of feel like I'm in a zoo. I get a little claustrophobia, man. That's why I got a forest. I ran out. It's still there. Okay, run back to my cubicle, really. But I've been in caves. I've done spelunking. And that's cave exploration. And I haven't done it recently. But if I'm stressed, I can't do it. I'm a bit claustrophobic. But if I'm not stressed, I can do it. I know I can. And the safest place in the world for any earthling after SHTF, like whatever it is, it can be pandemic, it can be war, it can be earthquake, it can be weather, it can be just marauders, could be zombies, whatever it is. There's only one way in your cave. and you start thinking about your cave, because if there is no geodesic housing, and that's what we all live in, that's what it's called. It's after Buckminster Fuller's geodesic dome at some World Fair. I think it's absolutely useless unless you're into some type of engineering or something. It rots, especially on the West Coast here. Everything has to be made of cedar, and it just simply it won't work. It lasts 40, 50, 60 years, and you have to rebuild it. Well, there's houses in Europe. I mean, in France, they're 1,000 years old. Why? Because they're made from earth. They're made from stone. Yeah. Yeah. Cob house, cob oven, cave, underground room, few goats, about 5 goats. You're going to need a male because you want that husbandry thing going on. 50 chickens. Radish seeds are so important to have to put the nitrogen in the soil. Once you're done outside, you can bring your goats or your sheep in your cave, just like Jesus did. I'm sure he did, because he lived in a cave. He was a sheep herder. Neanderthals all looked for a cave that offered the best protection because there's one way in. And only you know of your 3 escape routes out. Underground room. It doesn't have to be a big cave. It can take a day or two. If a 90-plus-year-old lady can round up orphans in a war zone and escape all the death and destruction and go and dig her cave, and in a day she had the cave done. The next day she finished it, and then it wasn't very big. It was about the size of a Volkswagen Bug. Okay, very little maintenance. And I mean, there was SHTF going on all around her. And she's like, okay, you kids need to learn reading and writing. And she started teaching them reading and writing. Hey, you got some crayons and pencil crayons and pen and paper. And there you go. This is your doodle art day. Whatever it is, that's that you're in a confined quarters. So a cave for a bear is the best. Sleeps through winter. Yeah. Where does a cougar go? In a cave. Oh, cougars know where caves are? Yeah. Bears, cougar, wolves live in a cave. Foxes live in a cave. Bunny, rabbit, rats. The list is really endless. Any creature will run to a cave because it's protection. People will know you are there with underground house. They will smoke or steam. You will have to leave it at some point. After SHTF, I really don't care. There's only one way in. Wow. I've done spelunking. Mandy, yay! But the caves I've been in here on the island, and they are damp, wet, full of water, also very cold. I don't see that being a great environment to live in. Well, that's why you got to make a little rocket stove in there, or a cob oven, Mandy. You'll get a good sleep in there. Mandy, wetsuit. Yeah, I think digging a new cave would be the best options here. Yeah. Yeah. Mandy, I figure I dive into that laugh out loud easily. Is a hunter, but Mandy. Yeah. Love the humor, ZR. Hey, Jack is here. Don't you come back. No, just kidding, Jack. Hi, Jack. Mandy says, you don't say that at the airport. Dig a pit, build a teepee on top. Yes, 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 yes. There's going to be a starting point to after SHTF. You're going to have a starting point, the materials that you have. Recently, I watched a video in a war zone, and the material after the attack was used to rebuild instantly. It was still on fire. They're scraping off the roofing material. For real. Well, that's someone that's got a set. Okay. You got a set when you're doing that. Yeah. So your cave doesn't have to be super opulent right away. Like Al says, dig a hole, put a tent up, put a tarp up. Like Bill says, put a tarp up, lean to, put your branches on it, hide it. Doesn't have to be where people see it. Just practice it. Write it out on paper. Go look for a possible place, and a southern exposure is best. Of course, you're going to be damp, wet, cold. That's the way nature is. Nature's not kind. She's very cruel, but you know what? She's very beautiful and very loving as well. It's all in how your mindset is. If you're a negative mindset, then hey, you become dust. If you're positive mindset, what's the next? Cool, calm, collective. Look, listen, learn who, what, when, where, why, and how. That's all you got to remember in a half-second flat. Boom, dig my cave. Oh, I don't have to remember so much. I can rest. I can sleep well. There's only one way in here. Oh, I put a little string in a little pop can here with some little rocks in it, and a jingle, jingle, jingles when you're crawling in on your belly. Oh, I have a visitor. Now I wonder how tall the visitor is. Well, if it's at the 2-inch level, that's a mouse. If it's at the 2-foot level, well, it could be a dog. Now, if it's at the 6-foot level, your little piece of fishing line, the invisible kind, spider wire, whatever you got, and you put a few cans along there with a little bit of nail and a couple of rocks, and it rattles, you got yourself a human if it's at the 6-foot level. Okay, very simple with me. It's not rocket science for me, because I grew up with a warrior. My father was a warrior, so the art of self-defense has been embedded in me. I learned a lot of Japanese fighting techniques, and I have very advanced martial arts training. And so it comes naturally to me. My father was a very, very brilliant warrior. I mean, he made it out of Hill 355 in February of 51 with 20,000 communist troops. Him and his buddies, you didn't get to hear much, but what you did hear, those guys were half drunk half the time. You got to wonder if some of that horror was true, and I imagine it was. After SHTF, anything and everything could be important. Yup. See season 10 of Alone. Yep. Yeah, I've watched that here from Vancouver. Oh, definitely, Jack. I hoard certain things because I feel like they would be valuable for trading. Oh, yeah. Hey, Urban's in here. Hey, Urban, how's it going? Mercy. Oh, hey, there's my friend from Africa. Hey, cool. I'm new to their channel, but I go to other nations and see what they're up to. Thumbs up. Thank you kindly, Mercy. Yes, thank you so much. I go to a lot of different countries, a lot of different cultures, and I like to know their creed, their culture. I like to know how they survive. I don't go there and watch people that live in a cubicle. That's just not, I already know that because I'm living in one. But if there's an alternative lifestyle, like I'll go to Nature's Growers TV, and it's pretty cool how certain people live, and to grow that extra food just means everything. And there was a show on one time I watched. It was a simulated after war show. Watched an old black fella's amazed all the people in his group. They needed gas for tractor. He made gasifier. Yeah, exactly. How you live. Now, most people, 99% of people, did not prepare for SHTF. So the whole ideology here and topic here for myself is, what are you going to do for shelter after SHTF? And you're looking at your house, and it's like those folks a couple of days ago, and they're looking at all their tents and they're burnt to a crisp. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be above ground, not in the bloody least. And if there's SHTF with marauders, people that are like worse off than you, they're sickly, whatever it is, there's only one way in your cave, okay? You don't have to worry about what's coming behind you. You don't have to worry what's coming left or right. It's just straight down that narrow corridor, what's coming at you. And you have an opportunity to be alive again for another day. And that's what a cave brings you, is protection. 8, Die Bullfrog, Uncle Lau. Thumbs up. I love the knowledge you can gain by watching other cultures and how they do things. Absolutely. Oh, when I was a kid, I studied First Nations people. that was my go-to imagination to go and think about how I could live free. Like you're not in a cubicle. So I would constantly have books or friends that were First Nation because they lived the way they lived. And my family didn't live much different than First Nations people. We foraged, we hunted, and we fished, and we made our. My dad built his own house out of birch raw wood from a mill that he made with a motor from a car. Okay, so the old man had a lot of skills. Yeah, I love the know. Yep, yep. Adapt the knowledge. Yep. Old school. Yep. Shared you out, Howie. Hey, thank you kindly, Jamie's Country Living. I'm going to go get another coffee because I'm exercising my jaw too much. And I've got some smoked salmon. Oh, yeah. Cheers to the smoked salmon and coffee. But yeah, caves, man. I'm trying to concentrate on the cave because it leaves this indelible mark with you all to remember your cave. Now, once you're in your cave and you've got it dug, just like that 90-plus-year-old lady, what do you do then? Well, it'd be really nice to have, like 5 or 6 milking goats. Yeah, goats. Yeah. What do you mean goats? That's what a lot of people go. What are you talking about? Well, I'm talking about milk, butter, cheese, meat, hides for textiles and everyday wear, shoes, jacket, blanket. Oh, goats. Okay, so you got the goat thing, right? Then there's 50 chickens. Rhode Island Reds are the best because they'll lay eggs during when it's really, really cold, and they'll eat anything. Meat, eggs. Oh, feathers for your pillow. Ooh, feathers for insulation? Yeah. Oh, really? Cool, hey? Never been in cave. Does a snow cave count? Yes, any cave will count. Protection. Yeah. The great thing is when you make your cave, hide it. Okay. Hopefully, if my plans work out, which they rarely do, but I want a cave. And when I go to the entrance of my cave, there will be a live door. What I mean by a live door is that a door that is like really, really light, like made of cedar or pine. It's just logs, short little round logs strapped together with cordage. And then certain little bushes growing on there, like salal, or put a little moss on there. You'll never know I'm there. I'll make ghillie suits look like chump change. Okay. So the thing is, you hide after SHTF because you need to hide. If you don't see a rabbit, then the rabbit has survived because you didn't see him. So when you hide, you're not seen. It would take an expert eye to find you, and most are not expert. And then the ones that do happen to see where you were stepping on this stone or walking in the creek because you didn't want to leave a trail. Okay. What's going on here? Because you're hiding. You want 3 escape routes from your cave. Once you have a cave built, you can dig another little hole and make an underground room, and then make a little escape route, place to get out on your belly away from your cave, because there's hordes of creatures like bears, like Mandy mentioned bears. You want to be able to, scoot off. A bear is much larger than a human. It can't go through on a belly. It's interesting once you start thinking about caves. This is a teen's book, but I love the true story. It's called The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. Amazing what that young man accomplished. It would be a quick read for an adult. Hey, I'll look that up. And it's called Harness The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. Well, I'm going to have to write that down. I don't have a pen, but I can remember it because it's here. And enjoy being. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, I filmed some models of old Maripa fortification village about 5 years ago in a local museum. I have a link to it. I can post for later, showing their uses of caves and tunnels. You can post that right now there. Enjoy being. You're an outstanding earthling. I trust you very, very much. And I would love it if you put that up there. And if Mandy puts up a link to where you could get this book on amazing what the young man accomplished, it's called The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. Put up a link. I don't mind links. I had a situation years ago about links there. I trusted too many people and they put up some bad links and it put me in a category in YouTube that, and they knew what they were doing, the damage they were doing. It's very sick. This was so sick. You prefer cougars, but do cougars prefer you? Hmm? Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, totally. I'm into that. Enjoy being. If you could put that up, I uses of caves and you said you did a video on it. I would love to see your video. I guess making an elevated platform to see sleep would help to get off the ground. Of course. And a cob bench, like you make your own cob bench that's heated by your cob oven. Oh, nice and toasty. Don't worry about the humidity. You're warm. It can be humid as long as you're warm. You won't catch hypothermia and get cold. Hi, Mandy and Jamie. He saved his town by creating a windmill for power and water. He made it from old bike parts, etc. I will go see if I can find a link. Thank you kindly. Urban Gardening Chronicles, one of my favorite channels. Always using the stinky thing. Yeah, she's constantly using her brain and a creative mindset. Amazing, Earthling. I just had to tell you that. Do cougars prefer you? That's the yeah. I learned from this guy from Trinidad. I learned to play the tin pan. I haven't talked about that too much. I can play a tenor pan. Hey, I'm not the best, but I'm not the worst either. Anyway, he was always seeing things in reverse, and the guy had an amazing resonance about himself. When he cut off his dreads, he secretly put it away. He didn't want anybody to see it. Well, I was allowed to see it because I was family. He was my best friend, and he lived in a ship on land. So he says, "Where you living?" I said, "Well," I said, "here and there." I had a little farmhouse. He says, "Farmhouse?" I said, "Yeah." So he brings his ship to my farmhouse. I'm like, this is years ago, way before YouTube. And we sat in there, and he had a little wood stove. And the guy's mindset was to always see things reverse from what you've been neurolinguistically programmed to. The guy's absolutely amazing. And he didn't want people bothering him when he was playing the tin pan and he was traveling around British Columbia and stuff. So you have to use a ferry here. So he'd go in the washroom and he'd play his tin pan, and you'd look around, you'd think you're listening to the piano music, okay, but you're not. It's a tin pan, but you didn't know. If you don't know a tenor pan from Trinidad, I mean, they make them out of oil drums right there. Their biggest thing was oil drums that were left over from the oil industry. So what to do with them? And they came up with all these different, there's different types of pans. So yeah, very interesting guy that hey, Thor Haven Farm. Welcome. Good to see you, Thor. There you go. You can look around, say hello. Here it is here. Enjoy being with those caves. Thanks. Enjoy being. Yep. Hey there, Food Forest. Hope you and everyone are doing amazing this morning. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. The discussion today is about after SHTF, how caves are offer a lot of protection, easy to make, and it's where can't you build a cave? Now, there's big problems with like if there's hard rock, but like as Atlantic Adventure said, a lean-to off that hard rock, something, something like Uncle Al says, dig a hole, put a tent above the hole. There you go. You got protection. A cave. Once you've dug a cave, I mean, you don't have to have a big cave. It doesn't have, a little bit of cob, a little bit of clay, mud, and sand, and straw, and then when you heat your cob oven in there, it'll be nice and dry. And when you've got the cave, it's like this, like the smaller the opening, the better off you are. So up about here, you put a hole down in a pipe. Put the pipe into the cob oven. You can light in there, have your food cooked right there. It goes right out. It's easy. There's no 40-year mortgage, 30, 20, 10 years. There's nobody wanting to collect rent. Okay, so you build your cave. Takes a couple days, say, right? Say 3 days if you're super lazy. A couple things you need: short handles, medium handle, long handle shovel. Be nice to have a Hilti jackhammer and a generator to go into rock. That's ideal, but it doesn't have to be. You can look around. Southern position. Heats up first thing in the morning. Cob oven, rocket stove. Doesn't take a lot. After SHTF, there's not going to be any bylaw officer coming by and saying, hey, you guys are getting fined. You're not on the grid here. You're off grid. You're not allowed to have that human manure compost toilet. That's against the law, which they are here. Well, I think you're allowed to have them here now. I think maybe. No, probably not. You're not allowed to have an outhouse here. Yeah. One time, and still you can't have a clothesline. One time you couldn't have a chicken. Now you're allowed like 4 or 5. One time you weren't allowed to have a goat. Now you're allowed to have one. So there's some people that are in the light going, oh yeah, I need chickens and a goat. If you have chickens and a goat, what does that do? Well, if you got 5 or 6 goats, man, you got milk, butter, cheese, meat, hide. Okay, chicken. Oh, well, meat. Eggs, 50 chickens. How hard is it to make 50 chickens? It's not. Rhode Island Reds are the best. They are dual purpose bird. Okay, I got all the meat and cheese and butter covered in eggs. What else is there? Well, whatever you can scrounge. Yeah. Caves offer the best protection. Yep. Hey there. Hello. Mercy saying hello to Urban. Hey, G Mama Gross. Welcome. Hello, Earthling G Mama. I subscribe to your channel. Cool. He has a very cool channel. There are tons of videos on about survival shelters. Yeah. My number one is cave with underground room with 3 escape routes. Yeah. Hiding that cave entrance is a few poles about yay big around, strapped together with cordage, and plants that hold that they are actually a plant, like salal here in British Columbia, wherever you are, a bit of moss, and you want to hide that cave's entrance. That's ideal, is to be hidden. Escape route from underground room is super ideal to go to your one that's hidden away from there. You already have a place to go. It's called a satellite cave, called a satellite camp. It's called a supply camp, whatever you want to call it. And it's easy to do if you initiate the program. If you don't initiate the program of building a cave or even thinking about it, you're going to be in some kind of trouble after, say, where I live, where everybody's pretty much scared to death of the earthquake. We got a 9.5 underneath the city. There ain't nothing going to be standing. Well, except this house, it's got like 15 by 15 beams underneath it. It was a miner that constructed this house. And I mean, you go underneath it, you see beams like that. It's like, holy, up top, whatever happens, but those beams aren't going anywhere. And it goes to where underneath this house, it goes to where you're underground, and cement all around with these beams, these giant beams. And I'm like, well, I like it here. Yeah. Feels safe. Wish I could have goats. Yeah, goats. milk, butter, cheese. But the great thing is it's meat too and hide. But you know what the goats do? They clear the land for you. They eat the little brambles. Yeah. Then your little chickens, they go out and scratch it all up. Within a couple of weeks, I'm pretty sure you can grow radishes in 21 days. Boom. Yeah. I'm eating radish leaves and radishes in 21 days. In 45 days, I'm eating lettuce. Oh, I'm drinking a nice cool glass of milk. Oh, look at my cheese there. Cheese requires lots of salt. Yeah, butter, lots of salt if you want it to last long. But if you got 5 or 6 goats, you're rocking along. Hey, yeah. And, making Pathway Soil Bank, hashtag Pathway Soil Bank. Soil's made in layers outside your cave. Okay. You don't need much to look after yourself, but if you're looking after other people, especially people with mental health issues, you got a challenge on your hand. Good luck. If people don't help themselves, you can't after SHTF. You got to look after yourself. You got to look after the community and kids second, but you must survive first to look after anybody else that does survive. And Thorhaven, hey there, Thorhaven. Some of the stuff that we aren't allowed to do or have baffles the mind sometimes. Yeah, Thor, absolutely. It's crazy. It's control, man. Neuro-linguistic programming is not for me. That's for mass control, and I advocate letting go of that. I prefer Dymo chickens better forager. Really? I did not know about these. Gee, mamas, clapping hands to Thorhaven Farm. Thorhaven's pretty cool farm and food forest, and he has a greenhouse, and he's always doing really cool things, and he has some amazing tools too, and he has great ideas. I've been over to his channel before several times. Yeah, and he's a decent guy, a rare treat amongst most that walk on the planet. I prefer, good to see you, G Mama Grow says. Enjoy being the village in the video had tunnels under the river to other villages, water wells, escape tunnels, storage caves, and bunkers. Well, I'd fit right in there. Let's hope they're friendly folks, right? I mean, some folks from some countries, their heritage was cannibalism, hey? Like, run, baby, run. Absolutely, get the hell out of there. Them bears ate Nick and Nick, Idaho hillbilly goats. Oh, really? Hey, I haven't seen him around for a while. Yeah, I don't get out much to other channels anymore, but I am subscribed to his channel, and I don't think he goes live very often. What he does go is he does a lot of videos, and he does a lot of common sense and how to just survive. And I love it when he goes fishing. Yeah. I wouldn't mind having goats. Yeah, well, it's the easiest thing. Get a few Nubians. It's the easiest thing to look after. They eat brambles. And the great thing about feeding goats, okay, you get a bunch of, let's say sunchokes that just before the end of the season, you cut them off, you tie them in a little bunch like that, and you put it up. Well, you take deciduous trees the same way with all the leaves on it, and you cut it off about that big around, maybe a little smaller, and you make a bunch and you lean it up, and it dries and dries and dries. And that's the fodder. In case you live in a northern climate, you're going to need something to feed them. Goats will eat anything. They'll eat anything. And they'll have a couple of kids each time they when they have kids, right? That's what they're called, kids. Yeah. I wouldn't mind having goats. Yeah, get them. I've been watching more permaculture videos lately. Yeah, permaculture is you're permanently attached to the culture that you're in, like growing food, having a food forest where you walk out of your house, it's nothing but food. There, boom. When you walk out of your house, you see nature growing all these beautiful trees. Well, what the hell? I want that in food, and it can be done. Thorhaven Farm, thanks so much for the kind words. Well, you're most welcome. I've always enjoyed myself going over to your channel. Your live streams are amazing. And some of the tools you have hanging around on the wall, I really admire. Yeah, that was years ago. Cool. Oh, yeah, right. The bear attacks. I remember that. at the Idaho Hillbilly. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. Life in Florida. Have to check out. Okay, have to check out his channel. Okay. Hey, Visible Farms. Welcome. A commonly dug pit for storage or hiding in was a bell-shaped, small top opening flaring outside at the base. Yes, that's ideal if you put bark in there and then your winter squash goes in there. Hey, and it can store. That's the whole idea about the squash that I save. I don't know what you call it, more of a melon. I went to and I presented it to an organic farmer recently, like a guy that's family. And he thanked me. He's like, this is great. A West Coast melon. I'm like, no, it's not a melon. It's a squash. He's like, yeah, but it tastes like ice cream, Howie. It's like melon. I'm like, okay. I had visions of using my KitchenAid and dumping in this melon and hitting the button and dropping some ice. Have to check out his channel. Yes, Hi Visible Farms. Yeah, Pilgor's pretty cool. Creative. Good morning, Visible Farms. Enjoy being the official age of the site is just said to be over 400 years, but history is a bit distorted here, and the site was likely first began 1,000 years ago. Yeah, living underground, man. After SHTF, for myself, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not offering this as advice, but if I'm doing it, you should think, what would Howie do? And when people are going crazy, like I see people that are prejudiced, racist, or easily led, or they're in a system of, oh, there's this one you vote for, or that one. There's like only hamburgers and cheeseburgers on the menu. Whoa, what happened to like all these other cultures and all these other systems? And so anyway, once they're done, the crazy people start, going at it. Well, there'll be plenty of tools for you laying on the ground. I suggest pick them up, police them up, and store them. That's ideal. You don't want kids walking up and picking up tools. So I'm calling it tools, but I'm sure you all know what PEWs are. Pew, pew, pew. Once the crazy start, it's going to start. But work with what you have. I mean, the best system is work with what you have and change some rules and whatnot. But not everybody's like-minded like that. Some people are just ready to pop, and it's crazy. Where are we? Lost it here. Marzetta Yarn and Crafts. Hola. Hello. We are in the wrong state for caves here, unfortunately, but on the good note, we can grow food year round. Yeah, you go in northern Florida, and you got some hills there. Food Forest Rock. Once I found out about them a few years ago, I needed the property filled up. Laugh out loud. Takes a bit to get going, but it's amazing. Yeah. You're collecting food that looks after itself. You want underground food, underground food. And don't get me wrong. I know a lot of people like their lines. So do I, like for veggies and stuff. But when it comes to the food forest, I mix it up. Like I was watching Life in Florida this morning, and the diversity is absolutely amazing. If one tree failed, there's another tree over here with something on it. Wait a minute here. We're not having the lollipop effect where they all look like lollipops growing in a row. No. You want natural arbors. I like growing kiwi, grape, and passion fruit in the trees, growing through the trees. But I also love the security of a cave. And where I am presently, I can't have a cave. I can have an underground room. I've got a couple of those, but it's still not a cave. So hopefully, if my friend helps me out and gets me to where I want to go, it's going to be a secret location, but I'm going to dig a cave. It should take me a couple, 3 days. And the only problem with where I want to go, there's only the sun is in the morning till noon. That's the only problem with this area I've picked. Now, there's hundreds and hundreds of acres there that I can go and look at. So, you know, and there's so much food there. It's amazing. I wouldn't even need to put a food forest there. It's absolutely amazing because I learned to forage and I studied plants and I studied indigenous cultures in my locale. I already know what I'm going to be eating in the spring. It's not some nice nettles, a few in a pan. I know there's some trout right there. I know there's some lingcod at the ocean over there. There's trout in that creek right there. I know there's oysters down there. I know there's clams over there. I know there's mussels over there. Oh, that seaweed. I hear dried fronds of bull kelp, dried, fried in butter, tastes like bacon. I got to try that out. Polyculture rules, wild and natural, visible farms, Pilgor. Bye, Pilgor. Was Pilgor leaving? Just dropping by to hit and get back to work. Stay blessed. Hey, see you, Pilgor. Take care, buddy. Make it by. I've had delicious stinging nettle soup. I Moss the Wild Food Festival that Nanaimo used to host. Yeah, Wild Foods. You get a book. You find some old people, First Nations preferred, but there are white people too. And there's some black people that live on Salt Spring Island that really know how to forage. They're amazing. I'm not going to mention their name because just as, privacy issues. They like to be private. So that's cool with me. And I like that. And don't worry. If you want to learn about indigenous food in your locale, you will learn. You initiate the determination. And a cave is your best friend. You don't have to have one cave. You can have a dozen. You can have 15, 20, 30, or 100 caves. For real. I know it's out of the norm. I know bankers won't like you because how do we get them with a 40-year mortgage? What? No credit card? What the hell? Let's get them. That's in the banker's mind. I think they might call them banksters. Yeah, banksters would be better. Yeah. And that's the mindset. They have no love for you being enslaved to money for the rest of your life. They want it, as a matter of fact. You want freedom and ease of mind, and you sleep well at night, and you're having fun. To initiate having fun, I'm going to have fun digging my cave. I'm going to have fun getting my goats and chickens. I might only do it for a while and then have a big feast of goat and chickens and invite the entire village. Who knows? Do something crazy. Adrian, welcome, welcome, welcome. I've had delicious things. Yep, me too. Oh, I have a whole shelf of wild food books and cookery. I love collecting those kinds of books. Yes, initiate reading them, initiate utilizing them. Practice makes perfect. I heard if you want to get to Carnegie Hall, you have to practice with your, flute or guitar, piano. Yeah. I'm just being an ass. But yeah, caves. Get out there, look at your cave. Get out there, find your cave. Get out there and find your goats. Get out there and find your chickens. It's a big step. And it's like, wow, goats and chickens. That's totally foreign because you're punching the clock, 9 to 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 5. Okay, I'm all for capitalism, but capitalism, it's over. Capitalism is with the, AI. I mean, you order something, it comes from two places. For real, it comes to your door from two places that you can order. Well, you can order from other places too, but there's two that show up at your door. Anything you want. Wow. Really? What about the guy that makes something? Make something from nothing. Oh, a cave. They don't come on Amazon. Nope. They come from initiating, get the hell out of the house, get out there and look around and have some fun looking for a spot to make your cave. Make sure you don't tell anybody about your cave when you build it. Make sure you don't tell anybody about your food reserves that you're putting at your cave. Now, some people on here or I'll be blocked. You can bet on it. I'm advocating. They'll say I'm advocating anarchy. No, I'm not. I'm advocating freedom of thought, action, and lawfulness. That's what I'm advocating for community minded, but not stupid minded. It's very simple. It's thumbs up. Thank you very much for being here. And I must say, much love, mad respect to everybody. Speaking of making something, someone gave a handmade wooden spoon to a local thrift shop. I scooped that up. It was so fast. I love locally made items. There's Dave Collier's camping and woodworking there. I think he's in Florida someplace. I got to get over to his channel. He keeps coming to my channel and dropping comments and loving this and loving that. And I've just passed him in passing. But anyway, I got to go. Take care. My blessings to everyone. Peace and love.